SpongeBob NaturePants. Chapter 8. The deep blue of night arrived on the ocean floor. After driving SpongeBob from their midst, the horde of jellyfish had given up the chase. Exhausted and disappointed by the day's events, SpongeBob had found refuge within a cold, dark cave. Now he was alone and sitting on the floor of his new home, a sponge without a country.
Gee, being a jellyfish sure was fun.
SpongeBob said in a defeated whisper.
Buzz, 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 buzz.
SpongeBob looked down at himself. His entire body was riddled with red whelps, throbbing leftovers from the multiple stings. What had he learned today?
For one thing, never ever eat jellyfish jelly out of the hive,
SpongeBob declared. His teeth started to chatter from the cool of the night, and a chill went down his back. The gloom of the cave had settled in his bones, and he began to shiver. SpongeBob peeled off a sheet of moss from a nearby wall and spread it over his body like a blanket. He lay down flat on his back and stared up at the roof of the cave. However, the mossy blanket was too short and kept rolling up like a broken window shade, exposing his ankles to the cold. Try as he might, SpongeBob could not get comfortable. He tried using a rock as a pillow, but it gave him a headache. SpongeBob sighed. He missed his nice soft bed back inside his pineapple and Bikini Bottom. He closed his eyes and dreamed of home. Then his back began to itch. SpongeBob popped up into a sitting position and scratched with both hands.
Hey! Oh, I'm itchy! Itchy!
He cried.
Why am I so itchy?
SpongeBob pulled away his blanket to reveal dozens of tiny orange bug-like creatures crawling on his body.
Poison sea urchins!
SpongeBob gasped.
Ah!
Springing to his feet, SpongeBob tried to brush the invaders away, but they were too stubborn to move. He rubbed his back against a stalactite, but the urchins still held fast. In a panic, he ran from the cave and threw himself down on the soft sand of the ocean floor, wiggling on his stomach and face like an inchworm.
Itch! Ah! Itch! Ow! Ow! Itch!
The grit of the sand loosened the hold of the clinging critters and gave SpongeBob some quick relief. Unfortunately, now his skin ached from the jellyfish stings and from the bites of the tiny urchins. SpongeBob stood up and hung his head in shame. What was he going to do? Where was he going to go? For now he picked a direction and walked, away from the unknown and toward the familiar. Off in the distance he could see the skyline of Bikini Bottom. As he passed the city limit sign, SpongeBob gave a feeble
buzz.
His dreams of being a jellyfish seemed silly now as he walked down the deserted streets of his hometown. There was a library of oceanography, the Salty Snail Disco, and off the corner of Finn Lane and Gill Street, the Krusty Krab restaurant. A closed sign hung on the front doors. SpongeBob stepped up to the darkened windows and peered inside. He pressed his face to the glass and squinted at the empty tables, the stacked menus, and a platter of leftover Krabby Patties sitting on the counter. SpongeBob's tongue lolled out of his mouth. He licked the glass in frustration.
Krabby Patties,
he mumbled. More dejected than ever, SpongeBob continued on his lonely walk. He passed Sandy's tree dome. Like the Krusty Krab, the squirrel's home was also dark.
Sandy!
SpongeBob sobbed.
Oh, Sandy!
SpongeBob kept walking, his feet taking him toward his street. His feet taking him toward his own street by habit. There was Patrick's Rock, and next door Squidward's two-story tiki house.
Patrick, old friend,
SpongeBob sighed.
Squidward, buddy old pal.
And finally he arrived before the last house on the lane, his very own orange pineapple palace. SpongeBob stood at his front door.
What have I done?
He wailed.
I had a great life and friends, and I gave all that up.
Still, since he was here, perhaps he'd take a little peek. SpongeBob carefully swung open the door and peered inside the darkened room. Stay tuned for Chapter 9, coming up soon.